Welcome to Pickleball CPR Drilling Session, and thanks for watching. This is Claudia Fontana with today's Pickleball CPR Chalk Talk session. In today's session, I will be discussing the drop shot return and taking a look at the angles and placements of this most desired shot for kitchen control. Get your paddle down low to lift that ball softly over the net. The drop shot is taken from deep in the court zones A or B by the defending team, in this case, player in yellow. In the first court drill, we see a well-executed drop shot by player 1 yellow, and with player 2 blue returning it back to deep court for player 1 to continue working on the drop shot. In the second court, we see the player 1 yellow has hit the ball too high and player 2 blue is smashing it back. You want to avoid this whenever possible. It gives player blue too many angles to choose from and attack. But do take note here, this can be a great coach to player drill to practice the short hop drop return back to coach when drilling. In court 3, we'll just say keep it low and go. Pickleball is a game of angles like many sports. Put the ball in where the opponent isn't or hit the ball at an angle that will be difficult to return. So with that in mind, and in order to get the ball to drop just over the net, you're going to have to position yourself closer to the ball with an outstretched paddle. Remember, pickleballs don't bounce like air-inflated balls do. You should strive to keep your contact point with the ball out in front of you and not behind the hip. In the following video diagrams, you can consider the contact from a volley or off of a bounce. Either way, you want to be in the best set split step stance to receive the ball as soon as possible. Remember, everything always depends on speed and angle of the ball. The drop shot is not just a third shot attack. If your team is on the retreat trying to regain the net, you need to be able to drop the ball from zone A and B at will when trying to get back to the net, unless you have the opportunity to drive home a winner. So I like to say drop the paddle to drop the ball. Keep the paddle in front of you and in front of the back hip whenever possible. And drop your paddle low to the 4 to 5 o'clock position on the ball. Squeeze that lemon with a firm enough grip to make solid contact. Keep your shoulders soft, contact the ball, and lift and push forward. Your paddle angle is important here, and you're going to have to find that perfect angle for you. Use your legs to help you lift, don't overswing. This will only cause the ball to fly higher, possibly to your opponent's waiting forehand or backhand drive back over the net. Not enough force on the ball, and you'll drop it short to your target and into the net. Practice, practice, practice. Let's take a little closer look. The ideal shot will be with the apex of the ball's flight or the highest point of the ball's arc to be on your side of the net, approximately 3 to 4 feet off the net. The ball should cleanly clear the net, followed by a slow, soft bounce so as not to bounce above the net's height. Again, this is approximately 3 to 4 feet into the opponent's no volley zone. This will cause the opponent to have to receive the ball below the net tape line, and the result will most likely be a dink return. If the loft is low with minimal arc, the ball's flight may stay in the no volley zone, but its angle of descent will be lower and the bounce angle on the opponent's side of the net will be less or lower to the ground. This low ball may shoot towards the opponent, giving them ample space to return the ball back. Watch out for the spin or early volley attacks. On court 2, a higher loft and descent angle closer to the net will definitely force the opponent to have to get under the ball and should avoid the hard hit return directly across the net to start that speed fight frenzy, as long as the bounce is soft and stays below the net tape. But take note, the greater the angle of descent, the degree of bounce of the opponent's side of the net may be too high. The higher bounce could be above the net level, resulting in a smash return. In court 3, if a high lofted ball is descending with a lot of backspin and lands close to the baseline of the net on the opponent's side, the ball can return back over to your side of the net. A little wind always helps, but remember, if they don't touch it, before it lands back on your side, you win the point. That's always a crowd pleaser. Here in court 1, we have the shot, which has a high arc descent. The ball bounces too high and closer to the opponent's no volley zone line. The opponent now has ample space to clear the net and attack with a drive, hard push, or flick at the net level. If they add some topspin, you're in trouble. In court 2, the apex is in yellow here and is too close to the opponent's side of the net. We see the drop does not occur and the ball hangs high and carries to the no volley zone line. The opponents can now easily attack the ball with a turn, poach drive, punch, push, or flick with greater accuracy against you, the serving team, or retreating team that is still back at the baseline and or moving forward too quickly too soon. At court 3, again, we see the drop does not occur in time and the ball lands too far away from the net, past the no volley zone line. The poacher at the net or the incoming return player can now again set and drive the ball with speed, force, and distance you have provided on this drop attempt. If you hit the ball too long and too high at the opponent standing at the no volley zone, it will be hit back by this defensive team with ease. The defensive players should squeeze that paddle a little tighter when intercepting the ball in flight as a volley because the ball has not lost speed due to it not bouncing on the floor. Use the volley block, drop, push, or punch to drop it short to catch them off guard or drive the ball back on a return to the now defending team at the baseline. Don't give them the chance to return to the net. This too will depend on the speed and height of the ball as well as your opponent's position. If the ball is hit too high and not high enough to clear as a lob, get in the ready position quickly to receive the overhead smash or block drop return. This player should have plenty of open court to attack. Once again, many variables and scenarios. Play the percentages and know your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Just for the fun, let's take a look at the spins and how they work. When looking from the side, the backspin, when struck, will be moving in a counterclockwise rotation. As it leaves your paddle, the top of the ball will be spinning towards you. The backspin is hit with a stroke from high to low angle, or like chopping wood, but with that, a push of your blade forward to catch the ball as it spends a little more time on the paddle to cause a reverse or backup spin action. Paddle angle is difficult here, and if you want to perfect it, you'll need to practice to know how much pressure, push, and wrist position angle you'll need. The topspin, as we look at it again from the sideline, will have a clockwise rotation. The stroke on the ball is from low to high direction, and the pickleball, due to the shorter court, you may really have to snap the wrist over the top of the ball as you, again, almost grab it and get the friction of the paddle to the ball to make the ball drop. The ball's flight will rotate towards its intended path line. This downward force on the ball in the quick snapping action will cause the ball to drop, stay low, and shoot forward. Enough backspin on the ball will cause it to rise slightly as it carries over the net, but when it lands, it tends to stop short and back up to where it came from, thus causing a slight reversal of path direction, and the bounce may be difficult to judge. Defending players need to respond to this by moving to the bounce to play it and stay low under the ball. In contrast, the topspin will hit the floor and shoot forward towards the defending player. Depending on the speed of the shot and spin of the ball, it may stay lower to the floor and may be difficult to return. Again, stay low, slightly back, and control the speed of your paddle for the return shot placement. Applying spin is fun, chancy, and difficult to master. Returning the ball with spin is even more of a challenge in itself. So how are you going to get back to the kitchen? Whoever owns the kitchen line most likely wins the point. The science of the drop shot depends on the factors of speed, force, velocity, hitting angles, and more. You have to find the touch that is you. Only through practicing it will you get consistent results? So many factors to consider, right? Your choices depend on opponent's position, readiness, and more. Hitting the drop shot in Zone C, the no volley zone area, will get you to the net faster, but you must also see the court and what's happening beyond just your stroke and contact of the ball. What is your opponent doing and where are they positioned? You must see past the windshield wipers through the rain and make the best judgments of purposeful shot making. Are they off balance? What zone is open? These and many more questions that need split-second decision making to score a winner, recover from an attack, or even set up your opponent's next shot. Knowing how to hit a consistent drop shot with and without spin, so to avoid the hard-hitting attack return is vital to the pickleball game. Face it, it's not an easy shot, and many people abandon it and go back to that slam, bam, banger attack. That's easy. The drop shot is hard and is pickleball. The closer, softer, and more controlled your drop shot is to the opponent's side of the net will determine the return most likely you'll get back. The faster you hit it to them, the faster it comes back, and less time you'll have to set and react with good return. Sure, that is fun for a while, but if you can't control your hard drives with purposeful placement every time, you're going to lose. Recognize spin shots early, and knowing how to respond as a defender is also crucial. So if you want to be on the defense all the time, continue to hit the ball high, hard, and deep, and keep getting pushed back or attacked with overhead or hard drive shots. If you want to take more control of the game, learn the drop shot. Not only on the third shot after the service return, but when you're deep in Zone A at the baseline during a rally, when your team has been pushed back in your own court, or also after a possible lob attack. If you are not skilled enough, don't have a power drive shot to split the seams of your opponent at that moment, slow down. Regain the kitchen line with a controlled drop shot and change the pace of the game to get back to a winning percentage. Analyze your options and make good decisions. Just know that there's a reason the drop shot works and the top level players use it. It gets you to the kitchen line where all the fun really heats up. This has been Coach Claudia with this session of Pickleball CPR Chalk Talk with the drop shot and a look at some of the angles and how it can be played. More drills can be found in my book, Pickleball CPR Drills, Coaching Pickleball Readiness. Drills are designed for individual to multi-skill partner drilling by using my unique PB9 and advanced PB13 grid teaching system. To find more tips and teaching strategies, go to pickleballcpr.com and get your hard copy and more drills like these in the convenient spiral-bound book for easy referencing, or go to amazon.com and get your ebook version to carry with you as well. Paddle up and happy drilling!